ordered to come. But anyway, thank you. And thank you to everybody here. In case we couldn't have done what we did here, we have a record number for the program now this year that we've admitted. And we couldn't have done it without all your help and all your support and all the hassling and everything else that I've gotten from all of you. But anyway, so welcome everybody. Well, I have to take a shot when I can. I don't get it very often. So anyway, what I just wanted to do is I stayed up late last night. I can't do this. Can I avoid this light? I can't see a thing. Anyway, so I stayed up late last night and I re-reviewed all your academic records to make sure we didn't make any mistakes. Okay? So you'll see afterward whether I have any bad news or not. Okay. Anyway, so what we have sitting in front of us, and there are a few of you that are still slogging their way here. I've been in regular contact with a couple of phone calls, and I don't know. You had one or two that were down south from Louisiana getting up. Did they get up yet? No, probably not. Texas, you got here. Okay. All right. So we may have a few of you, and we have a couple from overseas that their flights got messed up because of the hurricane. So hopefully they will arrive shortly. But anyway, we have 39 actors, 4 directors, 4 playwrights. I think you're the strongest class we've admitted so far. Sorry. The average undergraduate average is 3.3. 37% of you had grade point averages over 3.5. Some of the top colleges and universities, and I'm not mentioning everybody, so don't get offended. Emerson College, Wesleyan in Middletown, Connecticut, Vassar, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, SMU, Ursinus, UC Davis, NYU, and GW. So you come from a pretty good stock. So that's good news. You come from Australia, Turkey, South Africa, Bulgaria, Korea, Philippines, Malaysia. If I missed anybody, did I miss any big countries? Okay, let me know. Okay. Yep, United States. Yes. Thank you. Okay. I wasn't patriotic enough now today, Okay, and let's see. We have Louisiana, Texas, California, Washington, New Hampshire, Michigan. I had it on the list. She just doesn't give me time. All right, and that's a few of the states. And then in addition to, obviously we have tons of talented people who have done all kinds of acting and directing and writing and things like that already. But we have a couple of fun facts here, that we have another puppeteer that we can add, because we already have a puppeteer. So we have another puppeteer, I think, who's also a percussionist. We have someone who, I guess, used to be a cellist. Yeah, used to be. You still playing? I still have it. Okay, all right, still have it. Okay. And a teacher who just quit her job to be with us. Yeah. Someone who closed her toy store out on the West Coast to be with us. And also I found someone in there that has also done some work with AmeriCorps. Okay. So if you have any other good things to brag about yourself, you can add that afterward. And things. But anyway, I really just wanted to thank all of you for coming, and I wanted to welcome all of you. And I think at this point, I'm going to turn the program over to our president, Steve Friedman.
Susan, who are you?
Oh, I'm Susan Ford. They know who I am. Yeah, that's my ego. Yeah, you all know who I am, right? Okay. All righty. President Friedman.
Who's responsible for taking this? Thank you very much, Susan. A very, very warm welcome to all of you in this very, very special program. It's going to be a really great experience for you. You're a very wonderful and diverse and talented group. Who's the puppeteer? I know Terry, who's your predecessor as a puppeteer, and I really want to see a method acting puppet. I've had a lot of dreams about what that might be. You're so talented. I think as much as you're going to learn from the superb faculty at the Actors Studio, you're going to learn equally as much or more from each other during this 3-year process. The performing arts has become a major element at Pace University, and the Actors Studio program is certainly a very large jewel tremendously proud of it. The combination of the tremendous breadth and richness of the theater in New York and this truly amazing program is going to provide an extraordinary experience for you. As you all know, this program culminates in the third year in a repertory season. As we speak now, we are concluding negotiations for a new performing arts building a couple blocks from here that will primarily house the undergraduate performing arts program, which has been growing very fast. But the ground floor will be a theater, a very nice new theater, which will be the home of the Actor Studio program repertory season. So it will be certainly the theater in which all of you will perform. Yesterday I spoke to the new freshmen at Pace, and I gave them 3 pieces of advice for success in college. This is what presidents do. Success in college and success in life. And I think that the advice applies to all of you as well, although in a very different way. So the first piece of advice was to seek mastery, which was a nice way of saying work hard. There have been study after study after study that have shown that hard work, diligence, and practice mean more than talent in virtually everything. In sports, in music, in business, in acting, certainly. And I think the very fact that you've chosen, that you've elected to be here, you've chosen this program is emblematic of your commitment to hard work, your willingness to really throw yourself into a program of great depth in order to perfect your art. It's a great tribute to you. You should feel proud of yourselves, and we're all very proud of you for doing that. The second piece, I love giving advice, the second piece of advice was don't be afraid. I have a friend who is a business consultant who talks about the importance of swimming, learning to swim in water over your head, jumping in to things that you really don't understand. In the case of undergraduates, that's really about breadth. So for them, it's trying new things, learning new subjects, going new places, exposing themselves to new experiences. In your case, it's very much a matter of depth. If the method and the Actor Studio is about anything, I think it is about risking yourself as you immerse yourself emotionally in the parts that you play and the characters that you assume. And that can be a very scary experience, so don't be afraid. And lastly, ask for help if you need it. Certainly you could not ask for a more impressive and helpful and caring faculty than this one. And all of us need help from time to time. So if your need for help goes beyond professional concerns, financial concerns, emotional concerns, we have a broad variety of very experienced people whose job it is to help you. And I can tell you, because I'm a person who used to bottle up my fears and just worry about them, the longer you wait to ask for help, the worse you feel. So if you need help, ask for it. We're here to help you. We want your experience here at Pace to be a really successful one. So please let us know how you like it. Let us know how you like the university, how you like this program, how you like New York City. Yeah, if you have ideas for improvement in anything, send an email. Send an email to Andreas Malakakis, who runs this program, to Dean Herman, who's Dean of the Dyson College, to Interim Provost Feldman, or to me. We'd love to hear from you. I know this is not a shy group, so I look forward to hearing from you. And finally, let me just extend my best wishes for a truly wonderful learning lucky to be here, and we are very lucky to have you. With that, let me introduce Interim Provost Harriet Feldman, who is going to talk to you about some interesting things.
I am so excited. The energy in this room is palpable, and to me that's really exciting. Welcome. We're thrilled that you're here. We're thrilled that you're joining some outstanding colleagues to be here. One of the things when the President was speaking, I was thinking about is the book Outliers. I don't know how many of you have read it, and the idea of practice, and practice being so important. I think it's what, 10,000 hours of practice is what makes people professionals and stand out in their field. And I know that while you may not have 10,000 hours while you're here at PACE, you've come from many hours of practice and hard work, and I expect that that's what you'll be experiencing here at PACE, all to very good cause. One of the things I thought I'd just quickly answer a question that you haven't asked, but I will. You're probably wondering, what in the world does a provost do? What is this all about? And one of the things that I do that's of prime importance is setting the academic agenda. So programs such as this come about because certainly of the hard work of faculty. They start there, but they blossom up and go through the provost for approval, for additional ideas and so forth. And so that's a very important part of my role. In addition, student success is very important. Student success in the academic world as well as the co-curricular world. And I think you'll be hearing from Dean for Students about a little bit more about that. But it's really important for us that all of our students, whether they're undergraduate or graduate, get a really well-rounded education and not simply work on their studies. Another thing that we look at is assessment, and we're very interested in knowing how you feel, what you think about us, and the President certainly alluded to this as well. Periodically you'll see something like a student satisfaction survey coming your way, and we are very much interested in quality and improving what we do, and just as you are seeking to improve yourselves, we're always seeking to improve ourselves. And last, certainly but not least, is we're responsible, my office is responsible for a lot of the academic support services, like the library, for example, like some of the other tools that you'll be using throughout your studies here. So if there are any questions, any concerns, certainly there's you're best to start off with the department chair or the faculty, depending on what the issue is, but we're always available as your needs, interests arise, where you think that either the provost or, as the President indicated, he is the person that you need to communicate with. So thank you. Have a wonderful experience here, and I'll be looking forward to your performances along the way. I'd like to introduce next Rich Schlesinger, who is speaking because our dean is out ill, and our other associate dean is having trouble through some floods.
It appears that Westchester County is flooded out once again. So on behalf of Dean Herman and the entire dean staff at Dyson College, I just want to welcome you to the incoming class for the Actors Studio Drama School. This is the largest class we have had since the inception of the program, and I know that you will all have a most exciting and invigorating experience here at one of the premier programs at the college and the university. The dean and I, and I'm sure everyone else at the university, look very much forward to seeing some of the productions that will be coming out of this class. I just want to thank Andreas Manilakakis and James Lipton for their exceptional work on this program over the past and going forward, because they're responsible, among the people responsible for the size of the class and for the quality of the program. Freeman and Interim Provost Feldman, you've gotten all the generic advice that you need. And just reiterate what President Freeman said, the Dean's office is here. If there are any problems that need to be solved, that can't be solved by the program leaders, by the directors, we can hopefully solve it for you, or at least direct you to who can solve them. So don't be shy. I'm sure you're not, as was mentioned. Performing arts students that I've run into are the least shy of any of the students that we've had, undergraduate and graduate. So once again, welcome and have a great time.
Okay, before we go any further, there are just a couple of folks here that I'd like to say thank you to. On behalf of the Graduate Admission Office, it's Steve Nicholas, who all of you that we admitted during the first half of the process, you know Jennifer Dahlman, who has left or been poached from my office or whatever to do bigger and better things. So another shot. I have to take shots, like I said, when I can. Anyway, but we need to thank Jennifer because she's really responsible for getting an awful lot of you here. And John, did John come up? John
locked out the door.
John left?
He's locked out the door.
Are you serious?
He's at the door.
Oh, we have to get John in here. Oh my heavens.
Sorry, I know you said no phones.
Oh, well, I guess once in a while, as long as they're on silent, it's okay.
John Lee, ladies and gentlemen.
And then all of you know John now because he's finished, working with the process and getting you all here. Well, John, thank you very much, and Jennifer, thank you very much, and well, Steve, thank you very much. And I guess there's one other person that you probably should know, our dean of students. Most of the time, folks go to her when there's trouble or when there's a problem. So if you have something good, go visit her once in a while. It'd be really a nice thing. You
Take care of it all. Just
yeah. Anyway, so she's sort of our mom around town here. So I think I've reached the point in the program where I'm going to officially turn you over to ASDS. I'm depending on you to be a good ambassador for PACE and for the program and for me, and to help me out and my office out as we start, as soon as we go back to the office, on next year's class. So anyway, welcome to PACE, and I think I'm going to turn the program over now to our leader, Andreas Malakakis.
We're going to speak a lot in the hallways, in my office, in the classes, so I'm not going to have a big problem. But I want to tell you two things. This is a family, and these people here that you see, they can testify about that, and the presence of all these people here, and how they care, how much they love you, and what they do for the program is the proof of what I'm telling you. Another thing is that, and they can also testify, these 3 years will go like a bullet. So this program has a lot to offer you, and it's really up to you to take the most advantage of these 3 years. Money, you can get them back very easily. One night in the casino, if you're lucky to get back. But 3 years, nobody's going to give you back. And this is the time for you, and I know all of you, you want to be here, and we spoke to all of you, and we know your dreams, and your visions, and your passion. So this is the time for you to take advantage of all these 3 years. Okay? Now, I want to introduce you to people from the Actor Studio and the faculty. Okay, I'm going to start with board members of the Actor Studio that we have here. So I'm going to end with you, Jim. I'm going to end because Jim is not just a board member, he's a encyclopedia. We have titles here involved. So, Elizabeth Kemp. And also a co-associate artistic director of the Actor Studio in New York. Then we have Jacqueline Knapp. And also a co-associate artistic director in New York together with Elizabeth. Then we have Brian Bellet, board member. We have Deborah Dixon, she's the executive director of the Actor Studio. There is a message from one of our presidents, Ellen Burstyn, that James Lipton will tell you in a minute. I'm going to continue with the faculty here, with the staff. We have Steve Nicholas. Program coordinator. You're going to be seeing him 24 hours a day for 3 years. Here is Chris Presley. Development. He's the person who you will meet a lot at the 3rd year, but even before that, and he's the one who is really making the connection between the school and the professional world. So this is the guy that going to take care of you when the time comes. I will continue with the faculty. I'm going to start with the acting department. So, chair of the acting department, Elizabeth Kemp. Susan Aston. Jacqueline Knapp. Dr. Brian Reinhardt, directing department. Edward Allen Baker, playwriting department. Clay MacLeod Chapman, playwriting department. Ed Setrakian, directing department. Dr. Bill Coco, theater history. People are paying. Sean Lewis, designing. He's also the supervising director of the repertory season, so when that 3rd year comes, you will see a lot of Sean. Michael Billingsley, movement. Greg Bacon, voice. Robert Sorrell, voice. Am I missing anybody? No. Well, and some other people are here too, but they're having classes already because we're starting classes, so you will meet them at the orientation classes that you have. Now, every year since the beginning of the program, at that day, the orientation day, we had a ritual. And that ritual was that the person who thought about this program, that founded this program, was getting up here, or wherever was the orientation, and was giving a wonderful speech. And that was the dean of the program at the time. So now this person is the dean emeritus of the program, is the vice president of the Actor Studio, the host of Inside the Actor Studio, the godfather of this program, and many other things. And even though he's the dean emeritus, we didn't want to lose that ritual. So every year since we came here at Pace, we continue that ritual. We cannot live without it, in other words. So I will ask Mr. James Lipton to come here and give his speech to you.
Provost. As you know, the Actor Studio has 3 presidents, Ellen Burstyn, Al Pacino, and Harvey Keitel. Ellen is always here. Ellen, as you probably know, if you've ever seen her on screen or on stage, is a force of nature. She has been thwarted today by another force of nature called Irene. Irene thwarted Ellen. Not easy to do. She lives upstate and she's flooded out by the new floods and tried desperately to get here and asked you to know how much she wanted to be with you and how much her heart is with you. I cannot do for you and to you what Ellen could do. She is one of the most inspiring people on earth. Her Academy Award is a public testimony to that. But those of us at the studio who know her know what an extraordinary woman she is. There is no one else on earth like her. And she asked me to tell you that she will be in your midst, and she will, as soon as the floodwaters recede. You are in for a great honor and pleasure when you meet face to face at last with Ellen Burstyn. Am I correct? So, I have delivered her message, and I will now, to the best of my ability, deliver mine. To borrow the words of a much more significant person, on a much more significant occasion, the world will little note what we say here today. But for the Actors Studio, this is a very significant moment. The studio will note forever that at 10:05 a.m. on September 7th, 2011, we admitted the 18th academic class in our 64-year history, and the 6th in our splendid home at Pace University. This odyssey, yours and ours, has now officially begun. How fitting that you should begin to the sound of applause. Fasten your seatbelts. You're in for a hell of a ride. And so are we. Since we began the school in 1994, many of the candidates who were not accepted have called and written to ask us why they were rejected. And we've tried to comfort them with the fact that Jack Nicholson auditioned 5 times before he was accepted by the Actors Studio. Dustin Hoffman 6, and Harvey Keitel 11. And some students who were chosen have asked us to explain what it was we perceived in them. My answer to them and to you is that a life in the creative arts is not a profession but a vocation, a calling. Not everyone possesses the strength, courage, and fire necessary to answer that call. Since we're welcoming you here today, it's obvious that we saw that strength, courage, and fire in you. And something else. A commitment that is summed up in a recollection of choreographer and director Patricia Birch when she was one of a class of 16-year-old girls at the Martha Graham School. The day arrived when the eponymous artist swept into the studio to seat herself ramrod straight on a hard chair, her sinewy feet planted on the floor that she normally bestrode like a colossus, her impassive gaze fixed on the students. The class ended. The students applauded the teacher. Then, a terrible silence. Miss Graham's gimlet gaze swept the gasping, petrified students, moving like a blinding spotlight from one to the next to the next. After an eternity, her lips moved. One of you, she muttered, is doomed to be a dancer. Pat has told me that at that moment, every one of those students closed her eyes and offered up a silent, fervent prayer. Please, 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 let it be me. You have offered up that prayer, and in choosing you, we have pledged ourselves to answer it. The history of this educational program indicates that we've chosen well. Nearly 100% of the students who enrolled when we opened our doors in 1994 received their master's degrees 3 years later. Our attrition rate has remained below 6%. With 94 out of every 100 students who enter this difficult and demanding program graduating with Actors Studio Drama School master's degrees, a remarkable statistic for any school. And more than 95 of our graduates have been admitted to life membership in the Actors Studio, and with every passing day are playing a more important role in the studio's life. In these remarks, you'll hear the word actor frequently, beginning with the Actors Studio. Yet the studio has been home to some of the finest directors and playwrights of the last half-century, and since our school was founded, we have selected our directors and playwrights with the same care we exercised in choosing the actors. In the second and third years of the program, our actors are dependent on the material provided by our playwrights and shaped by our directors. So the writers and directors begin their specialized training in the first year to enable them to hit the deck running in the second. But during the first year, apart from those specialized courses, the 3 tracks are indistinguishable one from the other. That is unique in this program. For 1 year, all of you will be trained in the actor's art, since at the end of the day, when director, writer, producer, costume designer, stagehand step back, it is the actor, and only the actor, on stage or in front of the camera, who embodies the hopes and work of all of them. Every one of you, writer, director, or actor, has a right, if not a duty, to ask us, why should I study with you? Why should I study at all? There have been great artists who just stood up and did it. Why pursue technique in so intimate and personal an art? Laurence Olivier went to his grave insisting that he had no need of the method or any other system. What Lord Olivier didn't know was that Konstantin Stanislavski would have agreed with him, since the great Russian innovator never denied the role of genius in the theater. Stanislavski's translator, Elizabeth Hapgood, in her introduction to An Actor Prepares, notes that Stanislavski, quote, is most ready to point out that a genius like Salvini or Duze, or parenthetically, Olivier, may use without theory the right emotions and expressions that to the less inspired but intelligent student need to be taught, close quote. So, if there are any geniuses among you who have no need of our services, just raise your hands and you'll be excused from the next 3 years. But before you leave us, you might be interested to know that in Building a Character, published 13 years after An Actor Prepares, Stanislavski expanded his earlier statement with, quote, a true creative artist, a true creative state, while on the stage, and all the elements that go to compose it were the natural endowments of Shepkin, Ermolova, Duze, Salvini. Nevertheless, they worked unremittingly on their technique. Inspiration came to them by natural means almost every time they repeated a role. Yet all their lives they sought an approach to it. There is all the more reason, says Stanislavski, why we of more meager endowments should seek it, close quote. Later in Building a Character, Stanislavski speaks of actors who do not admit, in his words, that laws, techniques, theories, much less a system, have any part in their work. The majority of them believe that any conscious factor in creativeness is only a nuisance. They find it easier to be an actor by the grace of God. I shall not deny, said Stanislavski, that there are times when, for unknown reasons, they are able to have an intuitive emotional hold on their parts, and they play reasonably well in a scene or even a whole performance. But there are other occasions when, for the same inexplicable and capricious reasons, inspiration does not turn up. Then the actor who is left on the stage without any technique, without any means of drawing out his own feelings, without any knowledge of his own nature, plays not by the grace of God well, but by the grace of God poorly. And he has absolutely no way of getting back onto the right path. Close quote. So, perhaps you Salvinis and Duzes would be well advised to stay here and tough it out alongside us of more meager endowments as we struggle toward the right path. All of you are familiar with the curriculum, so I won't deal with it here, except to say that it won't be as hard as some of you fear or as easy as some of you may assume. You will learn this system as we at the studio did, on our feet, sometimes on our knees, but above all, in our heads and hearts and bones and guts. You will be asked to search deep inside for that elusive self that Stanislavski described as the indispensable foundation for everything else in his system. That isn't easy, and it takes time and patience and perseverance, am I right? I was a student of the great equestrian teacher Gordon Wright, who trained many of America's Olympians. One day I dismounted and was watching him school a horse and rider over a course of fences when a stranger leaned on the ring rail next to me and asked Gordon, "How long would it take you to teach me to jump a horse over a fence like that?" "6 months, Gordon replied. "Where do I sign up?" the man asked. Gordon pointed at the barn. The man hurried toward it, then turned back to exclaim incredulously, "You can really teach me to ride in 6 months?" "That's not what you asked me," Gordon said. "I can teach you to jump a horse over that fence in 6 months. You want to learn how to ride? 10 years. Gordon wasn't kidding, and neither are we. Our experience in the professional world and during the past 17 years with this school has convinced us that we can provide you with a firm foundation in 3 years. That's why we've designed this course of fences. In 3 years, you'll be ready to go as far as your unique talents will take you. Talent cannot be taught. Technique can. And you've already heard Stanislavski's persuasive argument for talent plus technique. One thing we can positively guarantee. This work will change you irrevocably and forever. At some point in the next year, each of you will reach the Rubicon, which once crossed means that there's no turning back. In our lexicon, that moment is called breakthrough. And once you've broken through, you will be forever and significantly different from other people. Through the 5 senses that will be the principal subject of the next few months, you will see more, you will hear more, taste more, smell more, and feel more than other people do. You have no more reason to believe this than your predecessors did, but if the claim seems hyperbolic to you, ask our 2nd and 3rd year students how they feel about it. If a generation consists of 25 years, this class of 2014 joins the Stanislavski system's 5th generation. When we created this program, we talked about that a lot. And today we continue, the 4th generation, training the 5th. That's you. This is a very real passing of the torch. You and the students who have preceded you are the ones who have been chosen to carry the tradition and legacy of Stanislavski, Lee Strasberg, and the Actors Studio deep into the 21st century. Be certain of one thing. As Andreas pointed out, the next 3 years will fly by in the wink of an eye. Ask our graduates. They would urge you, as I do, to use these 3 years because you'll never meet their like again. And I recommend our colleague Shakespeare's counsel, "Love that well, which thou must leave ere long." Today is a turning point for you and for us. Wei Ji, the Chinese character for a turning point, is actually a combination of 2 characters, the one for opportunity and the one for danger, uniting them forever in inseparable union. Is this an opportunity? We fervently hope so. Is there danger in it? Risk that our president spoke of? Of course. Wei Ji teaches that one cannot exist without the other. As Shakespeare put it in Henry IV, Part 1, out of this nettle danger, we pluck this flower, safety. We are intensely aware that you are entrusting yourselves and your futures to us. And perhaps today you are beginning to realize that we are entrusting ourselves and the future of an institution we esteem to you. The distinguished English poet Christopher Loeb summed up this kind of relationship succinctly and famously in this poem. Come to the edge. We might fall. Come to the edge. It's too high. Come to the edge. So they came, and he pushed, and they flew. Students of the Actors Studio Drama School at Pace University